I'm not.
Talk about it early.
Yeah, when I'm not advocating drug use, I'll turn my camera back on.
Mute myself. I'm finished getting dressed, and I'll be right back.
Yep.
Let me see what time.
Oh man. Oh geez. What is going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Topcast. I am your host, Tack, with the usual suspects. Well, they're not here right now, as you can see visually, but they are here nonetheless. Nella, Trey, and Sleep. Nella, what's going on, my dude? How you doing?
What's up? Stop, everybody. I'm not visible right now, but I will be soon. But yeah, what's going on? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you, man. Glad to have you. How was your weekend? How's everything going? What's been going on with you?
busy, and even more busy, but mostly just trying to train for this job. I finally got they had to do an apartment inspection, so I had to get ready for that. That was time consuming, but luckily we got some things fixed, so I'm able to charge my car at the apartment as long as I get the right parking spot. I kind of forced that parking spot at night so that I can charge my car overnight. Because it saves me a ton of money to be able to charge the car.
It's an electrical charging spot, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so you can plug it into a home plug. They have an adapter for it.
Okay, gotcha.
So as long as I can get it to my little back patio, I can plug it in. As long as I can get the cable there. Gotcha. So I need a specific parking spot. That's all. Because I told the managers, I was like, eventually, I'm gonna want a reserved spot. Nobody else out here is being environmentally aware, and I mean, I can just plug it up at the office and use y'all's electricity for it. They didn't like that. So
they didn't like. I was about to say, what did they say?
They didn't like that. So I'm probably gonna just get this spot reserved in front of the apartment.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I was like, it's either I can charge it myself at my apartment, or I can pull right over here to the office and charge it over here. I was like, the choice is y'all.
Would they have told you or something if you did it that way? If you pulled up to the office?
They probably would have said something like, why is your car plugged up? Because I can't plug it up at home and I need to get to work.
Right. Okay.
I pay for the electricity, but I can't use it.
I feel you.
So, yeah.
What's going on in the FGC world, man? I know.
know
a lot's going down.
Yeah, so it's so Dragon Ball FighterZ just dropped a huge update. Like a massive update. It's almost like a new game. They've overhauled a lot of systems and revamped some, improved others. Included a new character, Kefla from Dragon Ball Super, which is a fan favorite. So A lot of people are hype about her. And this is gonna help. The big deal about it, FGC wise, looking from the inside, is that it's gonna help the game's meta from getting stale. It's gonna keep neutral game real fun. And it's going to allow people to play teams they want, not necessarily play off of a tier list. Gotcha. Like one of the top players for Dragon Ball FighterZ just made a tweet today and was like, if there was ever a time to not ask who's good and just play the game, it's now. He was like, just play the game. He's like, they've given you an option to play everybody and have fun. And be good. So like play everybody and see who you like.
That's always good.
It's
don't
very
want to
good
get locked into a meta because that just sucks because people just pick the top.
It always sucks.
Just pick the top tier people and just win. It's just you don't even have to be good. You just pick the top player and just like, okay.
Bryant had uninstalled the game because of GT Goku. Like he uninstalled the game and he was just like, until they do make some changes, like buff a few of my characters or nerf GT Goku, I'm just done with it. But with this new update, he immediately reinstalled.
Okay, well,
so I was just like, they pulled you back fast, but even I'm gonna revisit the game sometime this week. Like I have to, seeing all the changes.
You gonna put it on? You gonna put it on stream?
Probably not because I'm trash now. Like when I was getting growth streaming Dragon Ball FighterZ, it's because I was actually pretty good at the game. But now I'm bad. So at least until I knock the rust off.
Okay. What's the deal with this? I heard this. I don't know if you played it. This Power Rangers fighting game.
Yeah, Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. So the big deal about that, I was gonna wait on Sleepy for that one.
Okay. I mean, we can revisit it when Power Rangers
because he did get it. He managed to snag it, and he played with us the other night. Power Rangers is the first fighting game to allow full crossplay.
Okay.
So people who have it on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, it does not matter. You can play with it, or like you can play with anyone. And the lobby system is dope. Like when you go in the crossplay lobby system, there are 4 battle lobbies set up. So up to 8 people can go in there, and y'all can all have your own fight going on. No one has to wait on the other person. So everybody can practice, get their matches in, swap opponents. It's super cool. I'm like, why do no other games do this? Like Japanese fighters do it, but Japanese fighters don't use good net play systems, so online sucks. But with Power Rangers, the online's not bad, and they have been the community, the dev support towards the community has been immense. It's like Rivals level support.
Okay.
Anytime they find an issue, they fix it immediately. They keep improving the game in ways. They're taking their fans' advice for a fighting game that's massive. And it gives you that Marvel style play that people want. And like, it's just the first fighting game to do this crossplay thing. That's a bigger deal than people think, that you can just play with anybody. And the game just went on sale.
Did you buy it already?
So a lot of people bought it. I've had the game for a while.
Okay.
I bought into the hype over a year ago.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
So I bought into the hype for Power Rangers a long time ago, back when it was still in development, because I was like, I can already tell that these guys are going to do a good job with this. And I've had it on my PS4 since I got a PS4.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't really have anybody to play with. Then Cajun got the game, Bryant got the game, Matt got the game. It was just people on my server just started getting the game left and right all of a sudden. And then Sleepy got the game when it went on sale. It was like $10, I think. So Sleepy ended up snagging the game, and then we all played, and it was awesome. But yeah, the game's it's really good, and you can tell it's just gonna get better. As long as the community keeps pushing the game. This game is gonna live as long as the community does.
Gotcha. I mean,
It's
with
one of
most
those.
FGC though, they live a pretty long time. So
Yeah, I mean, they're still having Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Edition for SNES tournaments at Combo Breaker every year.
yeah, I was about to
So-
say the last fighting game I played was, I don't know if you remember the Power Rangers one at the end where you could be the Megazord and then the other
Oh, that's the Power Rangers beat 'em up.
yeah.
I have that game. I got the cartridge right here.
Oh really? Yeah, that was the last.
Yeah.
That was the last fighting one. Well, I guess it's I don't know if it's considered a fighting one.
So there was if you wanted to fight against a friend as you as the Megazord and them as the villain,
right,
you could put in the code 1212 and then y'all could fight.
right. That was the last time I played something like that. I mean, I played Tournament Fighters, which that's SNES, so you know how long ago that was. But those
Yeah,
are like some
still.
of the last games like related to like Power Rangers or something like that I played. But who's in there, or who's your main? Do you have like a main in that game, or you just pick
In Power Rangers?
Yeah.
So I just found my team like last week.
Okay.
It's Cenozoic Blue, which is the Blue Ranger from the Blue Ranger that. So this is based on. Let me give you some backstory here. One of them, this whole thing is based on the comic book series, not the show.
Okay.
The show is loosely based on the comic book series, but they tweaked it so they could milk it for money. So the comics have one villain, but it's a multiverse system. So the different Power Rangers, like the different seasons you see as a kid, are really different universes in this comic book.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The Morphin Grid stretches over multiple universes and allows Power Rangers to exist in multiple universes. That's why they're all different. They all come up with different ways to be Power Rangers because they're different universes. So Cenozoic Blue is from the movie. I guess the best way to describe it would be the movie. The live action movie.
The one
Those
where,
Power Rangers, the
ninja
designs.
ones?
No, not the ninja ones. The ones where it almost looks like the suits are like alien suits.
Oh, okay.
Like the live action movie they just had.
Gotcha. Okay.
The latest one. That universe, the Cenozoic Rangers, are what the Cenozoic Blue Rangers based off of. I use him as my point character, so he's first. Then in the middle, I have Pink Ranger, Jin from the Time Force.
Okay.
Pink Time Force Ranger, and then at my anchor I have Lord Zed.
Lord Zed. What?
Yes. Lord Zed is my boy. He's actually, if any of them were my main, it would be Lord Zed.
Hmm. So I'm assuming they have like all of it, like Rita, Lord Zed.
Rita's not in there.
She's not in there?
Not yet, at least. She'll be in there. They keep expanding the roster. She'll make her way in.
And what about what's his face? Ivan Ooze?
Goldar's in there.
Goldar's in there?
Ivan Ooze would be OP, but he's not in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Goldar's in there. I want Lip Syncer from the old Power Rangers fighting game.
Oh, Power Rangers. I don't think I remember that.
It's a weird character. It's a very obscure character.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to worry about it. She was one of the few. She had air dashes in a Power Rangers fighting game in SNES. No other character did.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Like that, she was way ahead of her time. I was like, y'all need to throw her in this game just as a shout out. But she doesn't exist in the comic universe.
Okay.
You have Lord Draken. He's the main villain. Like that's what I'm saying. So Lord Draken's the main villain of this comic book universe.
Gotcha.
Did my computer just try to go in idle mode while I'm talking? Come on, that's just rude. But Lord Draken is Tommy.
Oh, okay. Is he the Green Rain? Lord Draken, is he like the
Yeah, so I don't know if you ever saw the live action trailer that the dude who played Tommy did to spread hype about the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
But it looked like an evil White Ranger.
Right.
And that's Lord Draken.
Oh, okay.
So Lord Draken was from a different universe. He was from an instance in time where Tommy, of his own will, went back to Rita to serve her as her general for her armies. And he ended up being fucking good at it. So he took over. He decided to start taking over multiverses, and Lord Draken was born. Over universes, rather.
Gotcha.
Over the multiverse and Morphin Grid as a whole.
So
the main villain is actually Tommy.
So would it have like a Spider-Man moment where Tommy runs into Tommy and like?
Yes, there is a Tommy v Tommy situation. Because in the Tommy we know, he ended up becoming the White Ranger,
right, and
leading the Power Rangers. In this one, the Green Ranger is attacking them while they're trying to get the White Ranger suit acclimated to Jason.
Okay. So
Jason's down there forming to the white Power Ranger suit, and Lord Draken or Tommy shows up. At the time Tommy shows up, interferes and takes the white suit for himself and combines it with the green suit. And then Lord Draken is born.
Ah, okay, I got you. That's pretty interesting. I mean, I might have to.
The comic books, they do a dramatic reading on YouTube. This dude's really good at it.
Okay.
And I always tell people to just watch that. Like if you want to do it while you're working on something, I can send you the channel, and he reads and shows certain like comic panels and stuff as he reads it and tells you what's going on.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty interesting. You know, I honestly didn't know that it was based on multiverses like that. So I guess that makes sense.
The comics are way deeper and way more violent and like darker than the show was.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it's a kids show. You don't want to see this stuff growing up. So I mean, so I guess the different universes. So like the what was it? I know there's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. There's the one where they go into space or whatever.
Yep, you have In Space.
And then I remember
Lost Galaxy.
I think that's where I stopped at, because I remember the where they got the ninja powers or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Where it was that movie with
yeah. So that's the Ninjetti. That's like season 3 of Power Rangers. That's season 3 of Mighty Morphin. That's still way back in the beginning.
Right. I think I stopped watching it when they went into space and like everybody left for the most part. It was like the original crew left, and it was like Billy. I think he was the last one, and he joined like a new team or something like that.
So that's the Zeo Rangers. He didn't join a new team. He just wasn't a Ranger anymore. He worked in the command center with Alpha.
Okay.
At that point.
Okay.
But yeah, Zeo Rangers are still from, I think they're still from that universe. No, they're not. They're from a different one. But it's just like you have the Dino Thunder, Mystic Force, Ninja Storm. You have all these Rangers in these different universes in here.
Right.
And it's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean that my knowledge of Power Rangers is very outside of Mighty Morphin. I'm like, okay, well, I mean that's all.
So as far as Mighty Morphin goes, they have the Red Ranger, they have Jason, of course.
Right.
They have the Green Ranger, Tommy, the good Tommy. Then they have Lord Draken. They have Kimberly. She's in this comic universe, she's the Ranger Slayer.
She's a bad person or something? Ranger Slayer. That sounds like
She's very complex. Ranger Slayer even got her own comic,
okay.
because she's hard to figure out. But the Ranger Slayer is Kimberly, and she's like on Lord Draken's side, not on Lord Draken's side, because it's Tommy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's Kimberly. But yeah, Kimberly, the Ranger Slayer, is in there. She's the Pink Ranger, but she's called Ranger Slayer in this. You have Mastodon Sentry.
Okay.
Mastodon Sentries are black rangers that work for Lord Draken.
Okay.
That are like sentry guards. They carry guns. They walk around like soldiers, basically.
Okay.
But they look like black rangers. They have the mastodon tusks and all that stuff.
So that's where that meme came from. The people. Okay, that's something off stream, but that's where that came from. Okay, that makes sense now.
You have, let's see what else from Mighty Morphin is in there. Lord Zed, of course, and putties, because Lord Zed can summon putties. That's one of his gimmicks.
Okay.
Is that you have Goldar? You have Trini, the Yellow Ranger.
Okay.
But Trini is a bit different in this game because she's wearing what's known as the Black Dragon Zord armor in her Yellow Ranger suit. So the Black Dragon Zord armor is Lord Draken's Zord. Trini stole it and adapted it to her own, and now it's hers. So she's like this big hulking. She's a heavy in this fighting game, a heavy grappler.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It's pretty interesting. I mean, it seems like well, I'd have to sit down and like you were saying, listen to the whole thing to understand everything, because it's like
the comics are actually very dope. I tell everybody to check them out. If you like Power Rangers at all, you'll love the comics.
Okay. Well, speaking of comics, we'll wait for
nice. We'll wait for Sleepy.
When he comes back, we'll circle back to that. But speaking of comics, if y'all weren't aware, there is a rumor going around currently that Marvel may be taking over DC Comics. So essentially, Marvel's going to become your one-stop shop for everything superhero related. The reason
not independent.
Well, true. The reason for this is that they were trying to do a 5G event, basically redoing the DC universe, and there were some complications. Some of the not illustrators, but what's the word I'm looking for? The creator of the comics didn't want to be involved with the new rebirth, the 5G. So with that, they're trying to talk with Marvel to potentially start creating those superheroes, which would in turn make crossovers potentially in the Marvel universe and have everybody under one umbrella, which would be interesting. But I mean, I don't know. Personally, I kind of like them having their own little thing, like separate, because I know some of the DC characters are a little bit more grittier and darker than a lot of the Marvel characters. So I don't know how they would incorporate that, but I don't know if you went into any more detail about that, but I thought it was pretty interesting that that's something that has potential coming up.
I think it's dangerous for gaming. Because essentially this means that Disney owns DC if they do get it.
Right.
Disney's already difficult for gaming devs to work with. They've said this multiple times. They're like, it's just hard. Like they want full control. They want too much money, and so we can't work with Disney. And that would put a stronghold on a lot of gaming franchises.
Right.
Especially ones that include guest characters like Smash or like Mortal Kombat, which just released Joker.
Right.
If Disney gets their hands on him, they may be like, we don't want him in that game. And then now what happens? So that's the bad side, though. That hasn't happened yet. That's just a hypothetical.
Right.
Also, the potential for crossovers is dope. But at the same time, I agree with you that I think DC and Marvel should stay separate. I just don't like the idea of Disney getting their hands on everything.
Right. I can totally understand that because I mean they've bought out so much.
Yeah, because I mean they have Fox. They have Fox already.
Mhm.
They have Marvel. They have what Lucasfilms.
Yep.
So they have all the Star Wars rights. Like they're getting their hands on basically the biggest franchises out there, and that's scary because DC is what this means too for Disney's streaming service is that they're going to beat out pretty much everybody else,
Right.
because they'll have exclusive rights to DC and Marvel shows, movies, like
Animated
original series that they could create, like everything. And
Right.
that's a big deal too, because then that pretty much, I don't care what anybody says, like Netflix did just sign this big deal with Nickelodeon, and that's going to keep them in the running for a little bit. VRV is niche, so it's not going anywhere. But like Hulu and stuff like that are going to be in immediate danger, and Netflix will be in long-term danger, because like people love comics and people love original content, and Disney has the potential to outdo Netflix with original content.
Right.
And with rights to DC and Marvel, they've already generated the hype and interest they need with movies to get people to watch the series, and all you have to do is pay for their streaming service.
Yeah, and it's so crazy because I mean, don't get me wrong, Kevin Feige is the man. Like he knows what he's doing, and I'm very appreciative that he brought order to to the Marvel universe essentially. But I guess the question would be, I mean, we can go back to the potential unity of these two different franchises. But who would you like to see in a crossover? I guess if this did happen, like who would you want to see in a crossover event?
I wouldn't mind seeing something like She-Hulk and Wonder Woman, to be honest with you. Like those are the types of crossovers I want. I want crossovers for the less popular characters to generate more popularity within each community for the characters.
Right.
Because like everybody knows who Captain America is. Everybody knows who Batman is. Everybody knows who Supes is, Spider-Man. But like She-Hulk and Wonder Woman, or even She-Hulk and Hawkgirl, if we want to get a little more obscure.
Right.
Or like I would love to see like Doctor Strange in Martian Manhunter.
That'd be pretty
like
cool.
Something like that would be hella dope to me. Those are the types of crossovers I would want to see. Maybe something like like Green Lantern and Doctor Strange, but I'd rather see Martian Manhunter and Doctor Strange.
Right. I mean just for I think hilarity purposes, I think Tony Stark and Batman would be pretty funny. Just seeing those. I think that would be
dope.
That would be interesting because it's just two playboy millionaire philanthropists, like different contrasts, where Tony Stark's more like the I'm smarter than you, like in your face, where Batman's more calculated, like I know how to beat you, find your weaknesses, give me time to prepare. I think that'd be an interesting crossover, seeing those two meet. And and if they did a movie, of course you would have to have Robert Downey Jr. be Tony Stark, and then I don't know who you'd have for Batman, but I would just like to see that. That'd be pretty interesting. I think, well, of course, Deadpool would be interesting. I just don't know who you would team him up with, or who you would. You know what I mean? Like, who would you put him with in the DC universe if that crossover was to happen?
Deadpool?
Yeah.
Deadpool, I mean, you could put him with, he's a mercenary, just like Deathstroke is.
Right. But he would get on Deathstroke's nerves, though. I'm saying, like, the comedic value, like...
I would want him to get on Deathstroke's nerves.
Really?
Let me see. Yeah, I'd want him to get on Deathstroke's nerves, because Deathstroke wouldn't be able to kill him. That's the funny bit.
Right.
Like, Deathstroke would want to kill him, but he'd never see any success, even if he tried, because he's Deadpool. So he just has to put up with it until their job's done.
Right. Yeah.
I think that'd be funny. But let me see who else. Let me see who could provide comedic value, though. I would love to see Deadpool and the Flash work together.
Deadpool and the Flash, that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah,
which Flash?
I would love to see.
Which Flash though?
Barry Allen.
Barry Allen, okay.
Barry Allen. I don't think Wally West would play off him well enough.
Okay.
And like, yeah, if he couldn't work with any of the villains, like Eobard Thawne would just be a dickhead.
Mhm.
So, yeah, if he had to be a hero, probably be Flash. I wouldn't mind seeing Deadpool have to deal with Brainiac in some shape or form.
Deal with Brainiac.
I think that would be hilarious.
Man,
I think that would be
Brainiac would have a
super funny.
meltdown. He would have a meltdown
Yes.
dealing with
I
Deadpool.
think it would be so funny if Deadpool had to deal with Brainiac.
Deadpool and Green Lantern to make a movie funny. I could see that. I could see that. But which Green Lantern would you be referring to? If you were to have that crossover though.
I can't remember his name. The pilot one.
Hal Jordan. Boo.
Yeah, it needs to be Hal. It needs to be Hal if they're gonna do Deadpool. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
I know, because you can make the Ryan Reynolds jokes all day.
Yeah. Breaking character. But yes, we were talking about the rumor that Marvel potentially taking over publishing for DC, and just thinking about like crossovers and your thoughts on it. I know you just got back, so
Yeah, no, I kind of picked up where you were going with that one. I honestly believe that DC going away probably wouldn't happen. One, because I know the comic book wing of DC isn't making as much money as they would like it to be, but Batman is still the most recognized, period around the world, followed easily by Superman, with I think Spider-Man being number 3. So, like, the other wings of DC's publishing is doing great. Like, say what you want about the movies, they're not making Marvel money, but like DC merchandise still flies off the shelf faster than anything else.
right.
So, I feel like this is a rumor that AT&T is floating now that they own them and whatnot. Maybe Warner is behind it just to see how the fan reaction to it's gonna be, and then see where the market's gonna go from there. Because I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that somebody in the business world has floated a rumor just to see what happens,
Right.
I think Disney will throw a number at them and they'll take it because it's Disney.
Yep. They're like, here's a blank check, sign what you want.
Like, I think they did that as a move to let Disney know, hey, if y'all throw out the right number, we will sell you DC. The thing is, I don't think anything will change. Not on the surface. I think DC Comics will still exist. It will just be a subsidiary of Disney now. Like, it'll be something that Disney owns. But as of right now, like, AT&T is just being very, very stubborn towards the writers. So it's just like, they're like, we don't want to do this. And this is big business. They will fire those people.
Right.
Yeah.
and sell the rights.
They can fire them and they can sell the rights, but all they're gonna do, like, if you might as well just skip to selling the rights, because firing them is just gonna cause backlash and cause things to not go the way they want them to go. Like,
cause backlash, Disney will just hire them for a better price.
All right, I'm not talking about that. Like, all right, so Scott Snyder is part of the big reason why a lot of this is going down. Like, that whole Snyder cut crap is still one thing.
Oh, that's
but like,
people still mad about that?
Yeah, but like, the thing is this is what people are like. So the new event in DC is called 5G. Makes sense when you think about the fact they just got bought by AT&T, right?
Right.
So 5G is the new big event. Well, Scott Snyder said he didn't want his fucking comics to be part of that. He's like, I don't want my comics tainted by this 5G crap. So he primarily writes Batman. And like, while some, like, I find his Batman comics hit or miss, but some people find it the seminal, like the ultimate penultimate form of Batman comics.
Wait, which ones?
Scott Snyder's Batman comics. Like,
I don't
he
even
write
know if he
Batman
writes
for a
the
long
ones I
time.
read.
So some people grew up reading his version of Batman.
Yeah, I'll tell you which one is my definitive one.
Like, so, but
figure it out.
So imagine, it's kind of like if you were a kid from the 90s and you grew up watching the Batman the animated series, and then they said, okay, we're finna bring that back, but we're finna change everything you like about it. You would be offended, Well, like, because you're not bringing it. If you're bringing it back, you're bringing it back for nostalgia's sake. But if you're gonna change everything about it, just make a new Batman. Don't touch mine. You know.
Right.
So that's basically where they're at right now with this whole Scott Snyder 5G Batman thing. He doesn't want his to be touched by it. He doesn't want to be a part of it. But it's supposed to be a worldwide crossover in DC. So it's going to affect and touch everybody. So
it looks like he was
somebody's got to
definitely
give.
involved
And
in my favorite. So
he can't. You know?
Hold on, let me see if he was involved in New 52 version of this too. I'm gonna side with him. Hold on. Cause
dude, he's been involved with Batman in some form or fashion for like the last like 10 years. So yeah, he was probably involved in whatever
let
Batman.
me pull it up. Oh yeah, he was. Detective Comics, bro. Detective Comics are easily the best iteration of Batman ever.
You're right, because it actually focuses on him doing detective stuff, not just screaming on Batman and punching random people.
Exactly. And like you get to see why you get to see just how clinically insane Bruce Wayne is through the Detective Comics.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's crazy. I love him to death, but he's crazy, like super crazy. He belongs in Arkham.
Oh yeah, that's why he can just walk in and out, because they're like, oh, he's got permanent residency here. This dude is clearly nuts. He walks in dressed like a bat and has a perfectly normal conversation with all these other people who are locked up because he punched them in the face.
And doesn't know how to properly end a conversation. He just leaves.
Yeah, like the dude just vanishes.
Detective Comics, man, like I've waited for a movie to be closer to the Detective Comics my entire life, and they haven't given it to me. But the Arkham series is based heavily off the Detective Comics.
Yeah.
So I got it in some way.
All right.
Well, I don't think you're ever gonna get a movie based off that, because movies have such a short time frame when you really think about it.
But I think they also don't want to film Joker cutting his face off.
True.
I mean, they could do that, and you wouldn't have to actually show it, you know? You could just show him pick up, like, you know, it heavily imply what happened. Show him pick up a razor blade and then start putting
they did kind of show it in Gotham, so it's not that bad.
And then the moment he puts the blade to his face, you know, you can pan away to drips of blood in his feet, and then just
that was what
else stuck out. Mask fall, and everybody knows what just happened. Like, there's ways you can film that without actually showing it, you know?
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, Gotham did give a lot of shout outs to Detective Comics. They did. The show got
better. It was a show about freaking a group of detectives.
Yeah. So like, because the Joker guy definitely chopped that face off.
Well, okay. So, Sleep, would you want this merger to happen, or do you want it to just? Would you want that to happen? Would you?
If this happened, that means all the exclusivity deals that are on writers would go away. So that means they could just put the best writer available at the time on each comic. So in theory, we would get all better comics.
The best of the best all the time.
You know?
Right.
But I don't feel like that's how it would go, because this is business. I feel like somebody somewhere is going to be like, put the cheapest guy we could get here, there, because this comic's not doing well. So like every comic would have to do the best possible. If it didn't, it would just get chopped, you know?
Mm.
And like they would just have them finish off the run as short as possible, and then that's it. So I feel like we would get screwed, because like this is exactly why we didn't get more Static Shock comics, you know?
Right.
Like DC was like, it's selling, but it's not that great, so let's just chop it. Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes, we didn't get more comics from him because it didn't do that. It was doing okay, but it wasn't selling like Batman. You know, it's not selling like Wonder Woman or Superman, so yeah, just chop it, you know? But it's like, who can compete with them?
Mm-hmm.
Like, not everybody's gonna come out the gate being Miles Morales, where they just start running like the champions, you know? Like, so,
Miles Morales and Wally West, man, they're cheaters.
Yeah, true.
No, but that's the thing people forget. Wally West came out the gate and people hated him at first. During the Silver Age, when Wally came out, people hated Wally because he wasn't Barry Allen.
Because he wasn't Barry.
They hated him just because of that. It was the same thing that happened in the Green Lanterns. Guy Gardner came out, people fucking hated him. And deservedly, he was an asshole. But so was Hal Jordan. But he had a little too much cockiness to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like the difference between swagger and cockiness. It's a slight difference, but that's what it was. But people hated Guy Gardner. So they skipped to the next one. And the next Green Lantern, people liked him. but not as much as they like Hal Jordan. So they brought back Hal Jordan. So we lost Jon Stewart for a bit. He went off to space to go do hero shit there.
Yeah,
like,
go do hero stuff.
Yeah, but like all this comic book stuff is cyclical. Like people who are the old guard hate the new stuff because it's not their guy that they grew up with.
Right.
But the new people who are reading the new guy love that because they don't have to know 30 years of history to know the new guy. So they stick to the new guy and they read him. But 10 years later, there's another new guy and they hate that guy because it's not their guy. And they're exactly where the people they hated before were. And it's like
every 10 years, it's gonna happen every 10 years.
Yeah.
But
and it's, especially with DC, DC is the worst perpetrator of this because they reboot every 10 fucking years.
Yep.
Because Batman can't get too old to be Batman.
I mean, Old Man Bruce would have been fine.
Yeah, I would have loved Old Man Bruce. I think everybody who grew up watching Batman Beyond would have been fine with Old Man Bruce.
Yeah.
If you saw that, if you saw the Justice League cartoon or Justice League Unlimited, Static Shock, if you grew up during that time frame, you're perfectly fine with Old Man Bruce because you know how much of a badass he is, even at 70, 80 years old.
Right.
But like I still remember a clip from Justice League Unlimited where they went to the future and Static is a member of the Justice League along with Batman Beyond Terry McGinnis. And the past Justice League comes to the future and young Bruce is playing good cop to old Bruce's bad cop. And he's telling the bad guy is snitching on his friends, telling everything he can to old Bruce. And young Bruce is like, hey man, you better give me something I can use because I don't think I can hold this man back anymore. That's how terrifying old Bruce was. That young Bruce was the good guy. That was the shit. I think everybody would be okay with that. But
even when we saw Robert Pattinson in a bat suit, we were like, please give us Batman Beyond. Don't make him Bruce Wayne.
Right.
But more Bruce Wayne. So, yeah.
Well,
they're gonna keep pushing the same things over and over again because they're not learning. And I'll give Marvel this. Like some of that stuff fails spectacularly, but it's only because they try so fucking hard.
It's because they experiment, honestly.
Yeah, they try super hard, and sometimes they fail just as hard as they tried. But every now and then you get something like Jane Foster Thor, and that was a short but beautiful ass Thor run. That shit was amazing. It made me care about Thor again. Even and not just like her Thor, but like I actually care about Odin's son again because he actually grew as a fucking character for the first time in a long time. Because for a long time he's just a big ass blonde beat stick.
Yep, that's it, man. I was like, this character is so uninteresting.
He doesn't have any growth whatsoever.
So let me ask you this, Sleep. Okay. If the crossover was to happen, Nella already answered this. We already talked about it for a little bit. Who would you like to see in a crossover? And some people in chat have already said, Deadpool, Green Lantern crossover. Who would you like to see personally? Like, give me 2 examples. It could be, somebody people may not know a whole lot about. But
I think because of the popularity of Deadpool, I think that because he's also a perfect foil and a great straight man, I think Slade will see Deathstroke.
Bro, what did I say, man? What did I tell you?
Yeah,
bro?
you're right. You're right.
Perfect straight man to him, and at
And
the
he
same
can't
time, they
kill
both
him.
have the healing factors. So
Yeah.
and the script practically writes itself. They're both mercenaries, right? They both take the same mission, and they end up having to work together, and they constantly try to kill each other off to get.
This is exactly what I said, except I just said that Deadpool annoys Slade, and Slade keeps trying to kill him, but he can't because he's Deadpool.
That fits into everything. You don't even have to change what I just said to throw that in there.
Yeah,
like they can be working against each other, then forced to work together, constantly trying to kill the other one off to get the thing, to get the money and the reward for themselves, and not have to split it with the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then their healing factors prevent them from killing each other. So Deadpool's annoying, and Slade just keeps shooting him in the head just because he's pissed off. And Deadpool just keeps stabbing Slade because he's pissed off. And it just works.
That's exactly what I said.
And you already got Ryan Reynolds as fucking, like, it's easy to pick up Slade too. Just go pick up Joe Manganiello. Like, he looks like fucking Slade already. You just put a gray streak in his hair and it's done. It'd be perfect.
You said Does Slade have an ability to overheal? I don't know a whole lot about Slade per se.
Slade does have so Slade does have a healing ability, but his unlike so Deadpool is already crazy. Slade makes him go temporarily insane if he pushes it too far. And when he goes temporarily insane, he just kind of attacks whatever the fuck's around him, which would be fine because Deadpool wouldn't be phased by that. You could literally shoot a scene where they're both just getting shot at. Deadpool's fine, but then Slade goes on a basically Weapon X style rampage and slaughters everything around him, and he keeps attacking Deadpool, but Deadpool's fine. And then Deadpool just keeps fighting him until he snaps out of it. Then the bad guy shows up, and the two of them have to fight the bad guy while they're both in an incredibly weakened state. But it's them two, so they still gonna pull this shit off. Like the script write itself, like I said, it's easy, and everybody will want to see it.
So to circle back, I know you weren't here at the beginning of the podcast, but Nella was we were touching on the Power Rangers, and I know just being in Discord, you've been going ham on that game for the most part. But I guess, give us some more insight about the game, and I guess who are the people that you like playing? Because I know you were talking about Tommy for a good minute in there, and then we'll continue on.
Any old school Mighty Morphin Power Rangers start off like me is going to be looking at, Jason and Tommy, Red and Green Ranger respectively. I mean, those are the guys you grew up with being in charge of the Power Rangers and stuff like that. And I don't know how far everybody made it into the show and all that kind of stuff. But if you just seen the first season, then you know those names, And then Tommy showed up like 30 times, of course, across the series, apparently. I haven't seen every generation, but like I have friends who started way after I did, and they still know who the hell Tommy is because he just keeps showing up. He plays pretty much like a Shoto. He's the closest one to a Street Fighter character for this game. So if you were just playing, I would say for the first time, I would say he's a good character to pick up and learn.
The Green Ranger?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ranger.
Yeah, he's definitely the Shoto.
But I think the game overall, honestly, it's just one of the best games I've played in a long time. It's simple, but with lots of room for you to learn, grow, and it's got a high skill ceiling. So any game that can be picked up easily and enjoyed by a guy who doesn't know anything, yet at the same time, a guy who's got years of experience can pick it up and not master it in a single day.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great skill window right there. Two, and I've said this to everybody who I know that plays any kind of fighting game. This is the only fighting game that I'm aware of that's on everything and crossplay, including on PlayStation. And we know how stingy Sony's been with that crossplay.
Right.
This is the only one. So even if you just played this game casually, if you get it on your Switch and your homeboy has it on PC and you get it for your brother on PlayStation, y'all can still play. And that is the most valuable damn thing in the world to me, because that means the Power Rangers community is united. It's not separated like all these other games are. Typically, when you play other games, you have to say, well, which version are you getting? Are you getting it on PlayStation or Xbox? And you have to talk with your local community to find out what platform y'all are going to be playing it on. And if you're on PC, you might not even get lucky. It might not come out on your the PC version might not even come out for 6 months to a year. So you could be that far behind everybody else learning tech and just playing if you only play on PC. So you might end up getting even if you want to play on PC, you might end up feeling like you're kind of forced to buy it on another platform just to keep up. This game doesn't have that problem. Everybody, everywhere can play it with anybody, anywhere else, anytime. Every versus game, fighting game or not, should have this fucking feature, in my opinion. I've been saying this for a while, and this game proves it to me that this is something. Call of Duty should have this. Madden should have this. FIFA should have this. Top Spin Golf should have this in mind. Every fucking every game that's multi-platform should have fucking crossplay in this day and age. I think it's a damn shame that we as gamers ain't pushing that harder. Like, I really do feel like that's something we like. All the rest of the stuff, like netcode and all that, yeah, we deserve better netcode. We should push that too. But some of these other issues can wait. They can just Fuck, like we don't need better graphics. Shit looks so real. It looks like you're watching like actual people at certain points now. Fuck that. We don't need to go beyond this.
Right.
Like we really don't. You know, I don't need to be able to know that there's like so many pixels in this image that I can never see them with my naked eye. What's the point? If you can't tell with the naked eye and you need special machines, graphics are too damn good. I don't need to know anymore.
Yeah.
Stop that.
Yeah. And I mean, it's
better online connections, less bugs, and more crossplay. That's the shit I feel like we need to get behind.
Right. And it's really interesting. Like I said, I'm not an FGC guy, so it's what's the word I'm thinking of? It is interesting to me to hear you guys talk about it with like all, you know, so much emphasis and passion behind it. So it's just crazy when you guys find a good one, then you're all on board. Because I know Nella, he pretty much had the same emphasis as you did just now talking about the game. So I was like, yo, that's a game, you know, worthy of checking out. But it's just, I feel like there's a lot of games that don't get the love they should, in a sense. However, there is one that I'm really excited about that is actually getting a movie adaptation, and that is Borderlands. And so this Borderlands director is Eli Roth. If you don't know who Eli Roth is, he is the man who made Inglourious Bastards, as you know, one of the movies that I really enjoy. So I think that is going to be a really good movie if they can make it gritty, and it would have to be a dark movie. I don't think you can't make it too cartoony. I mean, you can have, you know, some of the over the top humor, but I think it would need to be a darker movie in order to pull it off. Because with all the gore and everything that's in Borderlands, you know, the shooting people's heads and stuff like that. But what do you guys think about that? Do you have any thoughts on that? Have you played Borderlands or?
I don't play Borderlands, but I've played it, but I don't play Borderlands. But I think cinematically, Borderlands is definitely a very smart move. Like I would love to see a Borderlands movie because I'm all about that type of environment in a film. Right. So I would love to see it. I'm for video game movies, and I think Sonic just blew the door wide open anyway. Because they listen to fans. Even if it was a publicity stunt, they did it right. So it is the most successful video game movie of all time. So I think the door for video game movies is going to swing open. And why not start it? But why not have Borderlands be the next one to walk through the door?
I think that'd be the most popular one right now. Because I mean, you have Borderlands 3.
It's potential for a series too, like for a series of films with that. Like that's why I think it's smart.
Right. Well, what do you think, Sleep? Do you have any?
I mean, I think they already have a blueprint basically too, because I mean, it's Borderlands is up to 4 players, right, with 4 main characters in each one, and they're going through this series of thing and whatnot. It's a little bit darker, but it still has a lot of humor in Borderlands as a series. So they can literally just follow the Jumanji blueprint and just add more gunshots and stuff. But I mean, they already have a blueprint for this type of video game type thing. I know Jumanji's not a real game, but it was based off of one, and in the movie series right now, it's a video game. So it's like I said, they already have a blueprint. They just need to, just have him add his inglorious touch to it,
right,
and then see where it goes from there. And I feel it doesn't even really need a super strong script. Because they just need to adapt what they already got to work with, Right. Everything's already written out for them. Alien world, 4 people fighting against this guy. Go from there. Like, they're hunting for a vault. What's in the vault? Stuff worth a lot of money. The game already gave them the blueprint, and they just have to look at the other examples they have around and figure out where to take things from that fits this in specific, and there you go.
So what about this? I just thought about this while you were giving your thoughts on it. What if they did like a Ready Player One type? Because you said 4 players, so I was automatically thinking like Ready Player One mixed with Borderlands, and you look at it from the first person perspective. Do you think that would be better than just them having 4 people just there and then going through that, or would you want it to be from the perspective of a player essentially, where you know you see the HUD and everything like that, like you would in Halo? You see your HUD and then you look, you see your friend over there, and then they go through that gritty that movie like that. Would you rather see that, or would you rather see, you know, from a different perspective?
I think the third person where you see it from the people, actually see the people, would be better for this one. But that first person thing, now that you talk about it, I think because they tried that with Doom, I believe, right?
Yeah, I
The
believe
Doom
so.
movie?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think a game series that would work for a little bit better, and it has lots of sequel potential, and they've got a great story and writing already behind it. It's very cinematic. Would be way much more than Doom, but that would be Halo,
Mm-hmm.
because you just replaced Doom Soldier with Master Chief, and now you have a way stronger script because it's Halo, not Doom. You know,
Right.
Yeah, I know it didn't work out very well in that, and it didn't work out very well in Hardcore Henry, I believe was the name of the movie. He's a Hardcore Henry or Hardcore Harry, but I mean, the movie was interesting. It was a good action movie, and I think for any of these shooting based movies like Borderlands and all that, these have to be summer action flicks, you know, with lots of base explosions going on in the background, you know.
Well, I mean, Claptrap would already take it over the top. I mean, you got to have Claptrap in Borderlands. You can't make the movie without Claptrap because he literally provides the comedic relief in the movie.
Yeah, but if it's Borderlands, you definitely need base explosions going off because like there's always stuff exploding in that damn series. So,
well, what do you think, Nella? What do you think? What would you rather have in the? Would you like it to be more of like a Ready Player One kind of like thing, except a little bit darker, or would you just rather it be like third person? Here we are. Let's go find Handsome Jack or whatever the case may be.
Third person movie. I think that would be weird. I don't know. Honestly, I think a cool thing to do with that, yeah, would probably be. I think the Ready Player One route would be smarter.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. I think the Ready Player One route would be a smarter idea for something as visual as Borderlands. I think that would be the right approach because you don't necessarily need a massive CGI budget to run something like Borderlands. You're just gonna need some damn good makeup artists and costume designers and that type of stuff, kind of like Mad Max had.
Right. They said the other question is, do the cell shading or full live action? Probably cell shading. I don't know if you could. I don't know if you'd be able to pull it off with live action. You'd have to keep the art style, in my opinion. That made the game really good.
Work well in a Doom movie. That movie, that atrocity.
Who would be someone you'd like to see in the movie, like an actor, actress, or voice character?
Oh, that's hard. I don't know enough about Borderlands to know who I would want to cast in the movie.
Mm. Well, I think personally, I think Batista would be good for Brick. I think he'd make a good Brick. I think that'd be a good pick for him. Let's see who else would make a good character in Borderlands. I'm drawing a blank. That's the one that comes to my head immediately. Claptrap. Who would make a good? Who has that sarcastic humor? What's his face? I think Paul Rudd might be a good Claptrap.
I like Paul Rudd in anything.
I think
I think you just say Paul Rudd and people will just be like, I'm watching this.
I think he'd be a good Claptrap.
Yeah, usually if I see Paul Rudd, I get interested in the film. I liked him since 40-year-old virgin.
I never even liked.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm excited. I saw it and I was like, okay, well, I don't know when it's making its debut, but I thought it was really neat to see as far as another movie adaptation. Hopefully it can do the game justice. Like I said, because I played 1, 2. I still haven't played 3 yet, and I'm going to at some point. But I've been a big fan of Borderlands because it's just over the top. I mean, it's pretty hilarious. Um, and that's just my viewpoints on it. I know a lot of people probably haven't played the game, but I would highly recommend it if you haven't. And that's that for the most part. But I guess we can talk about some little side topics before we get into the last thing. And this one's actually a really interesting one, is that Google is being the service that we need. And they are locking down a lot of these apps that always need to load your location. So they're making the requirements for making an app a little bit harder. So that way you don't have to always have the app on, and the app always has to have your location to, sell information to other people, to give you those advertisements or whatever the case may be. I think it's a really good move in the right direction, finally, instead of all these apps being like, oh, can we use your location? And it's just like, even though you click only while the app, it's still going to use your location while the app is closed. So I guess what are your guys' thoughts on Google making that move to make it harder for apps to be approved in the App Store for location purposes?
It was long overdue. It was time. It's been nice for a while having the App Store be so unrestricted. Like, it really allowed for a lot of stuff to flourish and get out there. But now it's time to crack down. We got apps where you think it's for a kid, and the kid downloads it, thinks it's a game, and then it's some weird demon voice clown saying he's going to kill you in your sleep. Kids are having nightmares. Like, then everything has a location on it. So I think this will help. This will help people that are aware of how constant location tracking is on your phone. Like, people that don't really pay attention to it, it probably won't affect them in any way. But like, even pictures have location data imprinted into them.
Right.
Like, every time you take a picture, unless you go to your camera settings and turn location and time data on picture off, it will always have a location stamp. So even phones have stuff built in to do it now. You can turn it off. But yeah, I think with apps, it's nice that they're requiring it, because people aren't really digging that deep. Not your average phone user. They're not looking that deep to see what all's going on. So it's good for the average user in that respect, where they can just get the app and not have to worry about it tracking their every move. Also, people are probably getting snitched on too much cheating out here in these streets.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
that's another one.
So yeah, real quick off of what you just said there was a guy who got caught cheating because his Fitbit had the data on it and whatnot, and his girl was looking and was like, he said he was going for a run to get some cardio in, and it was like 4:30 in the morning, and his heart rate was like so high, she was worried about him. She was like, it's not this high when he's running though. So she went to go find him. Yeah.
Man,
wow.
He is feeling good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I think let's just piggyback on what you said. For a lot of people who are really in their privacy thing, we have a buddy who's big on privacy.
100%.
He in everything. Can't let nobody in. But some people, that's a very important thing for them, is to know that, like, or at least feel, like, not know for 100%, but to at least feel like they can be not tracked. And for others, like, it's not that big a deal. Like, for me, it's not that big a deal. I just accepted that our AI overlords are going to overthrow us one day, and I'm just waiting. In the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy life, like, I don't worry about that kind of stuff. But I know a lot of people are extremely concerned with the idea that people could just know where they're at or what they're doing at any point in time. And so it depends on where you are on that. But I think everybody should have the option. And that is important, just to have the option.
Mm.
So I'm glad to see that they're doing that. I know some people are going to be like, man, but it's going to restrict a lot of apps and it's going to stop certain stuff from coming and whatnot. But it's like, well, what do you need this data so bad for that you can't put this app out without it,
Right.
So
Right.
I feel like if they can't do that, then we should be able to charge them for our data. Because they're just selling it. So,
true. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
like if you're gonna sell, like I want to cut all my data sales. That's all I'm saying.
Sell instead of trying to sell me on an advertisement, use the advertisement money to take part of that bill away.
Yeah,
True. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was interesting.
I feel like that's the next progression.
Right. And it's really crazy. I mean, there's some apps I'm just like, okay, whatever. I don't really care. Some of them I'm just like only use, when I have the app open. But I just, like I said, I just thought it was interesting that Google's being the one to do all these minimal changes, like the ad block that we talked about a couple episodes ago, and now they're doing the restrictions on some of these apps. It's just really interesting in that perspective.
It's like I told Tack earlier, man. Google don't want no smoke.
Yep.
Google was like, we not getting sued over this. We've held up our end of the bargain. Anything else is going to be the developer. It's not going to be us.
I mean, that's business in a nutshell, though, right? Hey, we don't do anything. It's the third party doing it. So
yeah. And so I guess we'll get to our last topic. And I know, Sleep, you got to leave here in a little bit. So I wanted to get your thoughts on it. And then me and Ella will talk about some other stuff to fill the last part of the podcast. But there have been rumblings, and there's a couple of sites out there that you can find this on, that there's being agendas being pushed for typically there's being agendas pushed for movies that have done well recently to change these characters from what they are into something that they never were. So, for example, the Sonic movie. They're wanting to push in the next Sonic movie, Sonic to have a romantic relationship with, like, for example, Knuckles or Tails, and them to be romantically involved. Another instance is the Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man, Peter Parker. They want him to be bisexual.
Yeah.
My thing on this is, don't do it. Don't do it, because you're gonna ruin a good thing. It's nice that you want to do the representation and everything like that, but there's a time and a place for everything. Sonic has never been that kind of character for like the past 20 some odd years. There's a lot of backstory where he's had interest in other, female characters and things like that in the shows, TV shows, the games, whatever the case may be. Peter Parker has always had a love interest, Mary Jane, Black Cat, other characters like that. So it's really, really interesting that they're trying to, turn these characters that they have these long backstories into something different. Now, don't get me wrong, the Eternals movie, that's fine. I don't know a whole lot about the Eternals. You can start that off. They haven't really had a long background, maybe in the comic books, but like TV shows, stuff like that. I know that's the most recent one that they're doing a love interest between two people of the same gender and things like that. But I wanted to get your guys' opinions on this agenda that's being proposed for these characters, and whoever wants to take the floor first, by all means.
No, you want to go first, or can I?
You can go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna say it like this: when it comes to relationships with any character, it has to seem natural. Like, even if you was to take Spider-Man and say he hooked up with chick X, if that shit didn't seem natural, if it was just like he saw a chick at a bar and then he picked her, and Peter ended up picking her up and dating her, like, that's not natural for Peter Parker, you know?
Right.
So it's got to be something that fits with the character naturally. And I think Spider-Man's never going to feel like natural for him to be part of the LGBT community, because we're always going to be like, well, you just know he's going to get with Mary Jane anyway, Right. So, like, it's kind of like if you watch The Flash or read it or whatever, who he's going to end up with, no matter what, where these characters are going to end up with, because they always end up coming back to this, because you can't abandon this history. You can step away from it temporarily, but you're not going to overturn 60, 70 years of lore in an instant and just say that's just how it is, Like, it's always temporarily, and then they go back. Spider-Man's done that where he dated somebody else and then he went back. Hell, even Clark Kent dated around for a bit before going back to Lois. But like they always end up coming home essentially.
Right.
So it's like when it comes to these characters, I feel like the fan base will never accept it because we already know where they're going. So you can't change that. Now, if you want to put other characters in there and change things up around them, that's fine. But if you like, it's kind of like Iceman. Marvel made him gay. The backlash on that was insane. And it wasn't just because people are like being homophobic or anything like that, but it's like, no, you had this character date women and be with women for like 40 something years. And then you had one panel where a character read his mind and said, oh, you're having a gay thought. You're gay. And then they just ran with him being gay for the rest of the. So it's like, you can't just that's not a natural progression.
Right.
You can't say he was looking at this dude and he was looking at it like, yo, the Hulk is swole as shit. Oh, that was gay. Oh, I guess I'm gay now. Like, no, that's not how that works. Like, and from D&D, I don't have a problem with characters being bi, gay, whatever.
Right.
Like, I believe that characters should be, any character in any form of fiction should be open to anything relationship-wise until they progress to something that feels natural for that character. Because I feel like people should be the same way. What works for you as a person works for you. It don't have to work for me.
Right.
But everybody should go with what works for them. And we should all just try to judge people off of how they treat people, not by how anything else. But if you force something and it feels unnatural, people are going to have backlash against it. Like, I know there's got to be people in the LGBTQ community that want to see more of themselves represented. As a Black person, I get that. We all want to see more people like us represented in media. But as a fan of the comic, I also want to see people represented in my comics in a natural way, in a way that feels like it fits the story and the character, not like it was shoehorned in to fit me. That's why when they do put out characters specifically made to be for Black people, sometimes I'm like, shit. Because I'm like, I want this character to be great, but I don't want this character to be like Blaxploitation,
Right.
Like, I don't want him coming out shucking and jiving, saying, damn, that was sweet, sucker, and shit like that. Like, no, I don't need that. Like, that's fine for an action film and all that, but like, if it's going to be a franchise, it's hard to good,
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at on that. Like, it has to feel natural. They said there was a pair of gay robots in Star Wars. I don't know much about Star Wars. I didn't watch it, but I was like, robots can be gay? I was like, oh, that's dope. Star Wars is really inclusive, is what I thought. If they made robots got to have sexuality and be gay, but that wasn't enough. Now they have to make a character who was previously straight turn gay. And it's like, okay, I don't know much about being gay, but that feels really weird that they could be straight and then just change on a dime. I feel like there has to be some kind of character progression. So they need to have a gay person come in, that has been through this, and not just one, like a group of them, like 30, 40 of them, sit down and talk with them about their personal experiences, and then have this happen over the course of another trilogy. Not just say, next movie, this dude is gay now. Or it's just not going to fit to me.
Mm.
Like, this is just me from a perspective of an outsider, though. Like I said, I don't know anything about it or whatnot. I'm hoping that if there's somebody who is part of the LGBTQ community and they understand that concept and they have, or at least have some experience with it, rather, I should say, that they can speak some of that, but at least understand where I'm coming from and say that I would like to see this, but not just for the agenda, but because it feels good for the character.
Right.
It's like, I would love to see, more of everybody on screen in things. But it's got to feel right. Like, that's where I'm in that. It's got to feel right for the character.
Right.
So it like he says, got to feel right and it's got to feel organic. You need like I was saying earlier, you need characters that we haven't had much exposure to introduce like that. You don't
Right.
need ones we've been exposed to our entire lives and then flip their sexual orientation on its head just because you feel like it. Um, that's it's not necessarily like some people can look at it as, oh, that you can that's not cool because you just wanted to say this character so you can identify them. We want characters we can identify to. Yeah, make some. But we've already spent our lives identifying to this character. Don't take it away from us to give it to someone else. Why can't we both just have that? That's how I feel about that. And not every, like, lately, a lot of these newer shows or cartoons, all types of stuff, like to kind of push this message a little too heavily, in my opinion. I think it's ridiculous. Like, people can make the choices they want. That's on them. But at the point where you start putting a lot of it in here, because the main thing is they say, like, they like to put like a homosexual kiss or something in these cartoons or shows these days, somewhere in there to show, hey, we're inclusive. And that's cool, but even in our cartoons, there was never any point where it was focused on sexuality. It was never focused on a dude kissing a girl or anything like that. Most of the time they were afraid to even talk to him. So why do you feel the need to show these kids, these two males or these two females kissing? Why is that need here when that need wasn't here for heterosexuality to begin with? At that point, it's not inclusivity. At that point, you're pushing a message. Like shows like, think of it like, I don't know how many people have seen the anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure introduces homosexuality without ever even mentioning the word homosexuality or showing two men be intimate with each other as far as kissing and everything goes. Like a lot of the characters are flamboyant, but at no point do you think those characters are gay. It's when you get to two characters that actually show love for each other, show that they've had a very deep and close relationship, that you're like, these two dudes might have been lovers. Like you can tell by how they react to certain things. And that's how you introduce stuff like that. Not just like Sleepy was saying, by the next movie or by the next season, hey, guess what? This character's homosexual. It's like, what?
Right.
I don't understand. Like, even if they are, why is this information like relevant to the story? Honestly, like, why is this information relevant to the story? So it's that was how I was with all of that. Like, if he's got a man, if it's a male superhero, and he's got a man at home. Like, let's make one. Let's get him introduced. Let's get him out here. But don't change a hero we've already had that's been heterosexual our whole lives. Like Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the nerdiest playboy I've ever seen in my life. Like, why are you gonna just make him bisexual all of a sudden? When his whole thing, like, I don't want to spoil Spider-Man comics for nobody, but if y'all know who Silk is,
Yep.
Silk is a female. Yep. Silk is a female Spider-Man, basically. I'm not gonna get into why she's a female Spider-Man, but it gets down to the point where half of this stuff wouldn't work for these comic books and the way they relate their powers. The reason Silk and Spider-Man have this strong attraction is because it's natural. It's a male and female that need to breed. That's why he's like so into her, and that's why she's so into him. Making him bisexual would literally undermine the entire reasoning behind his power. So it makes no sense for them to just do that here.
There'd be a lot of.
It would make it no. I don't think that would. I get where you're trying to go with that. I don't think it would make no sense because even if he was bisexual, he would still. This is just me being a comic book nerd right here. He would still feel that need to breed with her because it's part of how their things work and whatnot. So right. Even if they took him and made him gay, he would still feel like he needs to be with Silk.
Yeah, but then as soon as he did that, how many gay people would be pissed off and feel like they're pushing some message that there's always some bisexuality in you or some shit like that?
Well, if that's how they feel,
that's the next ticking time bomb waiting.
Like, hold on. If they feel like Spider-Man being with Silk is offensive because somebody made him gay like 2 months ago, then they should remember that for the last 40 years or 50 years or however long Spider-Man's been around, he was straight. And that whole Silk thing has been around for at least a decade now. So they
But that's
change
my whole
everything up
point.
to push your message. Don't be mad when they go back to the lore and say this is okay. If that's how you feel, then you just outed yourself as being, I'm here for my message to be pushed, not for this character.
That's what they're here for, bro. Like, I thought that was the point.
No, I'm just saying, if that's the case, then I want them to come out and say that. Because to me, that's just like racist people. I would rather know you're racist. Because then I know.
That's why I'd rather them just make a new hero. Like they did with Legend of Korra, right? That was good. That's how you introduce homosexuality. That was perfectly fine.
You know how many people was mad about that? And for no
people were mad because it was one of the first cartoons to do it. That's why people were mad. Red states were mad. That's what that was about. That wasn't necessarily
surrounded by red.
Yeah. Because it wasn't because they forced it in. It was just because they didn't want that. Like, half the dudes had a crush on Asami and the other half had a crush on Korra. And so when they ended up being together at the end, they didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't hear many women mad about it. The only people I heard mad about that were the dudes who sit and slobber over them girls that watch them shows. Like, those were the only people I heard that were mad about that ending. And I mean, like, why wouldn't they end up? I was like, have you not watched it? I was like, did you watch the series? The dudes in here are so incompetent. How could you end up? I was like, this dude right here single-handedly dated 2 women and made them like women.
That's because they picked the wrong brother, man.
Bolin's my boy. Look, I understand.
Bolin was the best. More people should have got
Bolin was too good for them. Right?
Yeah, Bolin, he really deserved Bolin, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, so, they didn't deserve Bolin. They deserved each other. But it was like I felt like that was a proper ending. They didn't force it down anybody's throat, and it wasn't like it was just right here at the end. They're gonna be together and it's over. Like that's it. Right. You don't even have to watch it no more.
Right.
I see what you did there, Red. I see what you did, Red.
And like I like what the art, like I like what the writers did because they knew this was gonna be a big deal. They knew people were gonna be mad, and so they made it the season finale because that way the show was over. They couldn't even fire him after that. It was done.
Right. And I mean,
like they always do that. If you watch a lot of series, especially on channels like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, always watch the last episodes of the series. That's usually when they get a lot of jokes out that they've been trying to get out for a minute because they can't get kicked off the team no more.
Right.
And let's say Genndy I don't know how to say his name. Genndy Tartakovsky, Samurai Jack, Dexter's Lab, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that dude there, he sneaks shit in all the time. Go back and rewatch some of those if y'all haven't. Like, there's all kinds of adult humor jokes in there that you see that he snuck in.
Well, and
like the mom, like he goes to visit his neighbor, and every time she bends over, you see on her butt it says the words "Dad's trophy." Like they snuck a lot of stuff in there, man. It was like nobody's allowed in the when Dexter's dad goes to the bathroom in the morning, nobody's allowed in there, and he's in there for like half an hour, and they try to figure out what he's doing. It's like, yo, nah. Like,
I mean, it's just like Rocco's Modern Life when he went over Mrs. Big Head's crib, and Mrs. Big Head was playing a frog maiden ritual video.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yo, she ain't wasted no time. I was like, she let him know what was going on from the get-go.
From the jump.
Yeah. As soon as he stepped foot in that house, she was like, hey, this is what I'm about right here.
There's plenty, but yeah, like Red said in the chat, in Young Justice, they made Aqualad gay, and they didn't cause a lot of waves. And I think part of that is because of what you said, they just made a new character, because there was an Aqualad before that, Garth, and he changed his name to Tempest, and then they made the black Aqualad, and the only people who had a problem with him being gay was black dudes. Like,
black dudes have a problem with a lot of people being gay.
Yeah, I know. Black dudes have a lot of problem with a lot of things, especially when it comes to the gay things, because it scares the shit out of a lot of them. But they made him gay, and you didn't hear as much of a stink about it as you did about a lot of things and whatnot. But I mean, there's plenty of gay superheroes. They're just not in Marvel or DC.
Right.
And I'm hoping that like the LGBTQ people will get their superhero real soon, because I don't know if y'all know about this, but Vin Diesel has a new movie coming, and it's called Bloodshot.
Mm-hmm.
And
I heard about it.
If you don't know about Bloodshot, then Bloodshot is essentially on that same level as Deadpool and Deathstroke with the healing factor. except for maybe even more scary. Like his might be like legit more scary. He could come back from pretty much anything. Like he was dead when they brought him back to start with. Like that's his origin. And then his blood has nanomachines in it. And if you play any kind of Metal Gear Solid game, you know how nanomachines can just explain every damn thing. So this guy, yeah, but Vin Diesel's in that, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a hit because it's essentially what happened would be if you made the Punisher and gave him fucking Deadpool's powers and said, let's make a movie about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going that movie, and it's Vin Diesel, you know. Drop that in the summer, yeah, you get my money. I'm gonna sit down and watch Vin Diesel kill people for an hour and a half. Yeah.
It's just
and then that character leads into other gay characters. In his universe, there's a character Midnighter and Apollo, and they're essentially Superman and Batman, but gay. But the characters fit. And like, let's be real. If you didn't know about all the lore of Superman and Batman and them being with their, you know, Catwoman and Lois and all that stuff, if you was just to look at these two dudes running around in spandex being the best of buds together all the time like this, but excluding all the other superheroes, you'd be like, those dudes gay. Like, so I mean, it kind of just fits. Marvel's got Scarlet Witch's son. Spoiler for that if you're not aware, but he's been around for like 20 years now, so you just late.
Yeah.
If you just watch Marvel movies, I'm sorry if that happens, then you might be a little spoiled. But she has a son, and she has two twins. One has her brother's powers, the other has her powers. The one with her powers, his name is Wiccan. He's gay. Like there's plenty of gay superheroes, and it feels natural. And they just need to put those characters out and not change the other ones. Like just don't change other ones without it being natural. And if you just need to put one that's gay in there, pick one of the many already gay superheroes and just make something about them.
Right.
Like, get them some shine.
Because I mean,
like, I would love to watch a movie about fucking Wiccan, because that means I get to watch a movie with all of the fucking Young Avengers in there.
Right.
And there's way more cool people in the Young Avengers than in the actual Avengers.
I mean, I'll just say this: if you try to make Sonic have a relationship with Tails, you treading on dangerous waters, because Tails is 8 years old in the lore. So what do you? I'll just say this: what are you promoting then? You have Sonic, gay Sonic, having a relationship with young boy Tails. So then what? You're like, oh well, we didn't want to do that. Well, it's too late now. You pushed your agenda. Now Sonic and Tails
and how are they going to introduce him too? Like,
right.
Tails became a character just because he was following Sonic around. Sonic didn't want to be followed, and Tails followed him anyway. So what? This kid just started following this hedgehog around, and he fell for him.
Hold on a second. Y'all don't even know the shitstorm that would be coming if they made Sonic gay. And I'm not saying that because of gamers. I'm saying that because of Christians. Sonic has the largest fan art gallery of Christian, like video game related art in the world. People from other countries that are Christian just make, and in America, but a lot of other countries they just make Christian Sonic fan art.
I mean, Sonic also has more furry art than like any other video game as well.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, but this is America where we're at. You know how much like. The people who are the super Christian ones and draw this super Christian fan art, they're probably not trolling the back alleys of the internet to find furry art, Most of them probably ain't even aware of it. But they're going to become aware of it if you do this.
It's just, I mean, I just feel like, I don't think it's going to happen because it's Sega. But if they did, that's a whole can of worms you got to navigate through, because
I'm going to link you something right
Tails,
here for both of y'all.
Tails is a young boy. And if you don't know about that lore, you just introduce him as being gay together, man, you gonna have so much backlash from all parts. But yeah, that is. I just thought it was interesting that those things are trying to be pushed essentially for characters that have been established for a long time, and you have plenty of other characters to fall back on, but you just want to take over the popular ones. I'm assuming. Is the case. I mean, it is what it is, but good luck to you. Good luck to you. But yeah. Man. I don't know. It's just crazy. There's so much like so many thoughts and different things can go wrong with that, essentially. But no, it is what it is. And we're in that day and age now.
Yeah.
But in other news, I guess we're on the home stretch. Nelly, you said you had some things going on, right? With the FGC and Team Kepri. You want to go ahead and elaborate on that?
Oh, yeah. So we're starting with Rivals of Aether, but we'll be holding tournaments for all types of fighting games. We don't have prizes yet because we don't have money. We're just trying to build a community first, and then we can start having prizes for the tournaments. But as of right now, they're all online. If you let me see where all people can go. There's a YouTube video. If you go to Nelatrey Gaming on YouTube, you can watch the video there. If you go to my Twitter page, Nelatrey Gaming on Twitter, you can see it there as well. You can also join the Team Kepri Discord server. That's where all the tournaments and everything will be set up. But yeah, so it'll be just a thing where if you want to be there, come by and play video games.
And if anybody out there is listening that wants to, throw a sponsor to Team Kepri, reach out to Nella. He already plugged his social medias and everything like that. They're doing big things. I mean, I sit in the wings and watch, but I'm hearing good things. Like I was watching this man play Rivals, and everybody's respecting his SK game.
Shovel Knight. It's a blast.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, I'm sure there'll be something else next week, but like I said, it's
something every week.
It's something. It really is. It's something every week. Something going on, or something major coming out. I don't think there's been anything else recently that I heard about outside of what we covered. I don't know. Has there been anything you ran across?
Let me see. The whole coronavirus thing.
Yeah.
So the coronavirus, of course, has been around for like what? A few weeks now, 2-3 weeks. We've been hearing about this. And now like US should be like preparing for the spread of the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my wife bought masks 2 weeks ago. Like when we first heard about it in China, we went to Walgreens and bought masks because I know how these situations go.
Right.
Masks are going to sell out first every time. So I told my wife last night, I was like, hey, check Amazon and check to see how much masks cost since we checked 2 weeks ago. She's like, they've tripled in price. I was like, I know. I was like, as soon as we went into a state of emergency, Amazon, those vendors on Amazon are going to raise their prices and you're going to sell out in the local stores. So now it's their opportunity to make some money on this. I was like, that's the conspiracy theory part of it. I was like, but it could also be here and they could just be profiting. I was like, so just be safe. That's why I bought masks and hand sanitizer and gloves, all that good stuff.
Right.
But yeah. I also just don't leave the house.
I was about to say, yeah, you can just not leave the house. Go buy all your food for, a couple months. Just sit at home. Yeah. Just do whatever you want. But yeah, it's crazy. I did see an article on that. I didn't really read it, but I was like, I do.
CDC put it out. CDC was like, you need to start preparing for it. So people are panicking because the CDC said it.
Right. It's old CDC in Atlanta, Georgia. But yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, is there anything else going on with Rivals? Anything else current? Just those couple of tournaments, right?
Yeah, just Rivals right now. It'll be Friday. Just because we want to run the Rivals brackets first, get a feel for how the events go, get a feel for how to run them, and then we'll start adding games and events like that super fast.
Okay. Have you played the new character in Smash? Or did you?
Yeah, Byleth. Yeah, I played Byleth.
What did you think? Did you like her? Him? Her?
I mean, whatever. It's just another Fire Emblem character, so I don't really feel anything for him. Mm-hmm. They're all right. I mean, the spear tippers are really cool.
Is there somebody you want to see sooner rather than later? I know they're trying to do
Actually, at this point, I don't like. I'm gonna be excited or not excited for whoever they release. I don't have anybody I want to see anymore.
Mhm.
It's just I'm ready to see who they announce. I want to see who they announce.
Fair enough.
As long as it's no more Fire Emblem characters.
No more Fire Emblem. I know there's a lot of people out there that are probably feeling the same way you feel. I mean, me looking on from outside looking in, I'm like, okay, cool, another character. I do notice there's a lot of Fire Emblem characters, and I was like, okay, that's a bit much. You have a whole pool of people to pull from, but whatever. But yeah, I guess we can call it here. I mean, yeah, we're ending a little bit early, but we pretty much knocked out everything everything we wanted to talk about today for the most part. For those of you that may be listening on YouTube, we're happy to announce that we're also on Spotify and soon to be iTunes as well. So just keep a look. Well, we're on Spotify and soon to be iTunes. So if you want to go ahead and subscribe over there, you're more than welcome to. Also, people on YouTube appreciate viewing and the subscriptions. And of course, Nella, as usual, we're in case people forgot, where can they find you at if they want to talk to you offline?
My Discord server. So you can either just ask Tack or talk to me. Check team. You can get through my personal Discord through the Team Capri Discord. And lastly, you could just ask me on Twitter or on Facebook. Anything where you find another tray, you can ask and you can get there.
Yep.
It's also on my Twitch channel. If you just scroll under my Twitch stream or Twitch channel, it's down there.
Yep. And then of course Sleep, who had to leave. He had work today. Sleepy Boy 86, Sleepy Boy 713. Those will also be provided in links in descriptions on our other platforms. And I guess the last thing, we got a new mascot for the channel in case you guys are wondering who the hell this is. It's our new mascot. So he'll be hanging out here going forward. Still got to figure out a name for him. I'm not going to call him his actual name because that's I don't want to get taken down by Nintendo. So we got to come up with a name for him. But I hope you all enjoyed the show today, and we should be back again next week with some more topics. Hopefully the same people, but we'll see. Everybody has lives and things to do. Just be sure to check us out: YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all that jazz. And we'll see you next week. And we're out of here, guys. Peace.